What's happening, y'all? This is your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. I'm here with my review for Season 4, Episode 13, the series finale of Black Lightning on the CW. If you have not seen this episode yet, you know the drill. Come on back, because there will be spoilers. People were saying when I did the 9 through 12 review, it should have been way longer. I didn't have the energy to talk through those, and plus it was just like too much. Before I go any further, I highly encourage you all, please head over to the Blurds in the Hood YouTube channel, youtube.com/BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Check out the interview myself and Winston A. Marshall did with Black Lightning himself, Cress Williams. We talked for over half an hour about his legacy, the show's legacy, a lot of impact the show has had, his plans for the future, and so much more. There's a lot of jokes, a lot of laughs. I will have it linked here in the description, so go check out that interview, please. All right, I've been real, I've been honest throughout the entire series, from season 1 through season 4, through the goods, the bad, the ups, and the downs. And I will not be any different now. The series finale missed on a lot of points. There was so much more I expected, but at the same time, when I had so many expectations, I had to have also a bunch of realizations of how a lot of things had to be changed. Again, the addition of JJ, the return of China and McClane in the end, the reason for the return, the story changes, the behind the scenes things, etc., etc. To have it start off with Gamby, first of all, them in the sanctum, Jefferson's dead, and Gamby like, nah, he out of here, he gone. It was sent by his phone, everything is proven true, like Gamby showing who he is. The team trying to figure out a plan. JJ like, the hell with this, I'm gonna go avenge my dad and blah, 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 blah. And a lot of this, what JJ didn't add up in the culmination of what happened with JJ. So you get JJ, she decides to go back into the ionosphere to charge up, to get a lot of energy. She feels like it's going to give her enough of a boost. And we saw in the penultimate episode there was an entity within it. And so when she went up, I already had knew, without talking to anybody that I know on the show, that works on the show, I was like, okay, they got China to come back for the finale. It's going to be 2 Jennifers versus Tobias and Black Lightning. That's what I think. Or 2 Jennifers versus Chief Lopez. So we see this entity be reformed eventually, and it is China and McClane, who, for a lot of people, it's good to see her back. I'll go on. Gamby goes in the mausoleum, with a bunch of guards for a mausoleum in a building. This is heavily guarded. Again, I get it's Tobias' sister, but damn. You have the point where he sets off the explosives. You have Grace in her comic accurate outsider's costume. Her and Anissa, who's in the Blackbird suit, go, and they're trying to do it from one end while Gamby handles the other. And eventually Gamby sets up C4 and blows up the emitter, and is surrounded by a bunch of guards with guns drawn on them like, yo, don't shoot. And as soon as they're about to pull the trigger, Grace comes as wild. It's like as soon as the emitter was gone, the powers come back. Thunder's there, they're black, they're fighting, blah, 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 they're going at it. Eventually when they leave the mausoleum, Thunder is shot with a couple of shots of the DEGs. Now, here was an issue I had. If we're going to show that these second generation DEGs have a lot of power, again, whatever critiques I have and you may have and whatnot at this point, they're all for naught because everything's done. But I digress. She shot with the second generation DEGs, which we're told by Gamby the suits are not as strong enough. They can handle some of it, but without, they're not super powerful. I personally would have liked to see holes started to be blasted within the suits. I understand with the Thunder suit you just had that made. I understand those suits are at minimum $100,000. Minimum $100K. But the fact that probably we're not seeing this, but again, who knows? I'll talk about that again. the damage of what the DEGs do. You want to see it really show its effect. It needs to blast a hole in a suit, not blast a hole through the hero, but show some damage to the suit. You get what I'm saying? You need to see that the suit took damage, not just it absorbed it and hit them like a bulletproof, like a bullet going through a bulletproof vest, hitting a bulletproof vest where the person who's struck, they still feel the impact, but it's not a life-threatening blow. So you have all that. We find out that Jefferson is not dead, but he's buried alive, and Tobias has him buried, a la Kill Bill had felt. You remember when the bride was buried in Kill Bill Volume 2? And Jefferson is, beat the hell up. And again, I think this, I was confused. But then I had to remember, oh yeah, being a meta does allow and afford you a level of healing. Because Jefferson's eye was beat. He had a mini Martin fighting Tommy Hearns look. And I was like, okay. And he's in there reminiscing about how he failed his father, and how the first time he had to kill a bad guy with Gamby and everything. And, a nitpick thing that I understand why you don't do, and I can't complain, is there wasn't the same dude who originally played Jefferson's father before. But again, COVID, no matter what, COVID is still a thing. The pandemic is still a thing. The pandemic was a thing when they were filming. And as we find out, even during our discussion that we had with Cress, that they just filmed the finale about a month ago. So, yeah, COVID is still a thing. Granted, in the state where it films, in Georgia, to them, COVID is not a thing. But for SAG Productions, which most TV shows are, that is a thing. And so, maybe you couldn't get that actor back. Maybe that actor was working on something else. Who knows? Different things happen. So, that's what I'm like, it's a nitpick. I'm not going to trip. But you see, like I said, you see Jefferson reflecting, talking to his dad, and you see the go back and forth between young Jefferson and older Jefferson. And, his dad basically telling him, you got everything you need, the strength you need, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, I don't have my powers. And in the process, Jefferson trying to, because again, he's underground. He's in the ground. He can't pull electricity from anywhere. He pulls from the radioactive promethium that is a vein under the city. I have a ton of issues with this. Okay. I understand promethium is used. It can give an electrical source. Any nuclear source can give an electrical charge to power up something. Proven scientifically, absolutely. But if it's black lightning, wouldn't it make sense for black lightning to call down the lightning in the sky? Wouldn't it? It would only make theoretical sense that he's always had everything he's needed. The one thing Jefferson never realized he could do was pull electricity from the sky. He's pulled it from sources, but the biggest source is the electricity in the sky. Clouds to form, lightning to come down, strike him, and recharge him. He struck, bust out, hero landing, boom, goes to fight Tobias. I'm gonna miss those one-liners, those self-hating Montel Williams black man one-liners. You big lip, nappy-haired Negro. I'm like, okay, that's how you feel. And the fight happens. And again, because we saw earlier in the season that Jefferson's lightning wouldn't work against Tobias because Tobias, his new steroid and everything, he was insulated like a whale, which made sense. Whales have blubber. He's insulated like a whale. I got it. But now the Promethean gives him a kick so he can whoop his ass. And then the fight goes on, and they fight through, and they break things. They break the Han Solo casing, which lets you know something's going to happen later. It's a little bit of small foreshadowing. And eventually, the battle goes, and Jefferson blasts Tobias' ass out the window. Now, you think Tobias is about to hit the street, which I was like, I am all for Tobias falling out and falling on the street and hitting. And as long as you don't have the shot where Tobias falls, hits the street or a car, he's laid out, and then you have Jefferson looking out the window and there's somebody with a camera, look up there. As long as you don't have that shot, we're fine. Because what that does is if you do that, you implicate Black Lightning as killing the mayor. Aside the fact that all the mayor's information and dirty deeds have been put out because of Looker being taken to the Freeland PD. But Tobias lands on a spike, and he's flailing like a fish out of water. I understand that analogy. But, again, in the moment, Here's where I don't know if I can fault the show or the show's budget as to what it looked, because the show's budget, you could tell they applied a lot to it, to the lightning effects in a lot of like different lightning ways, and which of course in the series finale this show needs to have a lot of lightning somehow, some way. I get it. Tobias on a spike, and he's having this moment, he's dying, and with his last breath he says, I'm gonna try to shoot him, and Jefferson's like, Tobias don't, because Jefferson has this code where he doesn't want to kill Tobias, and Tobias goes to pull, and Jefferson fries his ass, and when he dies, when he fries him with enough power, not only does the energy from the strike kill him, the spike kills him, and Tobias finally ages out and dies, because Tobias is old, and this serum he's been taking has been keeping him youthful. Okay, cool.
Your Google Home isn't set up yet. To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
Okay, I mean, I said cool, but got you. Okay, thanks for interrupting me. This is going to be great for the video. We're not taking that out. Chief Lopez. So you got Detective Shakur figures out Chief Lopez out here. Again, I just hated the dialogue for Shakur. Chief Lopez is taking a meta booster and blah, 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 blah. Okay, bro. Just start getting people. You got one cop who's at a desk. She like, yo, I'm just an analyst. I don't do this shit. He like, yo, get the shit. She's like, fam. Like, I'd be like, hey, bro, this ain't in my job description. The chief go batshit crazy, he got powers? Bruh, let me pull out my substation 3. If chief goes batshit crazy, I do not have to come to work. Things like that. That's what it should show. So, before then, you have Lightning show up when you have JJ in the tunnels. And then Lightning shows up as far as China McClain. And then you see the two of them, the two Lightnings, two suits. But then you find out that JJ was this cosmic evil entity. That the whole thing was every time she kept feeling Jennifer go to the ionosphere, she just wanted to have a regular life and felt like Jennifer took advantage of it. And so she finally overloaded her and then took her essence and her memories and was able to form a body. What? That made zero sense. That was an evil entity that was waiting. If anything, what you could have done, if you were going to make that an evil version of Jennifer, JJ, whatever, that is a multiverse. We know the multiverse does exist. Even though everyone is on Earth Prime, the multiverse is always going to be reborn. That was the multiverse Jennifer, not just an entity. That the fight comes, and the fight between Lightning and Lightning, I'm like, okay. But it's just something that just didn't feel like it had the heart I wanted it to have. Eventually, Lightning powers up Super Saiyan level 8 style and just disintegrates JJ, and that's it. Okay? Then she goes, and, because then we go back to Chief Lopez, who is fighting the Meta Task Force, who says, you brought my own force to come out and ride out on me? Okay. So she blasting him with lightning and everything. She going crazy. And then her and Jennifer have this, her and Lightning have this final showdown. Lightning absorbs all of her, takes out the chief. Well, you think that's it. That's pretty much it, right? So we have the Pierce family who's seemingly finally having the wedding celebration officially they wanted to have for Grace and Anissa. Everyone's dressed and everyone's, dressed up and celebrating. You have Jennifer sitting on the balcony, and she's just out there by herself, and it speaks volumes on so many levels. But again, there's things I won't speak to. But she's on the balcony. TC comes to visit her, and she just want to be out here. Blah 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 blah. Eventually, she comes in, and then Jefferson, and Lynn after talking, they come back in. Jefferson and Lynn say officially they're going to get remarried. Which you kind of knew that was either going to happen because of the setup with her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend Keith, who was her lawyer. When he was like, Jefferson, like, that's my wife. And he was like, that's your ex-wife. And I was like, oh, these two big thick niggas for the fight. Like, fight for the love of a chocolate sister. I'm all for it. You got to, every night I got to prove my love. If you got the 5 heartbeats, whoop this nigga to show that you love your wife. She your ex-wife, fight. Yeah, the brother might be kind of swole and in a tight neck suit, but whoop him. Fight him, whatever. But you have that. You have Gamby saying he's going to retire and that he's going to leave everything to TC, but he's still around to help. You have Jefferson who says, like I said, him and Lynn are getting married, but he's retiring as Black Lightning officially, and he's passing everything on to Thunder, Wild, and Lightning. Here's my issue I have. Okay, cool. At this time, we don't, when we're filming this, you don't know the official status of the Painkiller series, which makes sense because you leave doors open. You don't want to completely close it off. You want to close it off where Jefferson is done protecting Freeland, but Freeland has his heroes. But if it comes back to where Painkiller's around and he's in Akashic Valley, or he comes back to Freeland, he doesn't have to interact with Black Lightning. He can deal with its new heroes, mainly Thunder and Wild. Okay, cool. You had many times during the battle of Lightning and Lightning, both Jennifers looking like their stomachs hurt, there's pain. We always knew that the JJ DNA was unstable from when Lynn found out. But wouldn't it make sense if the Lightning DNA was unstable as well? There's no reason she should be around still, because of course, when you have Lightning, the Jennifer Lightning flight and the JJ Lightning, you have her flashbacks of the family from the beginning and running and everything from episode 1 and all those things. Beautiful montage, I get it. But the best way to have done that would have had, as she fought, and after she fought I understand you want the happily ever after moment, but she should have died out. She shouldn't have been able to be permanent, I guess is the thing I'm thinking. I don't know how many others feel. This is just me. I wanted so much more. Again, I always have the perception of what I would have done had I been in the room, had I been able to pitch this. But I'm not there. I'm not in those rooms yet. Hopefully, consultation, I'm available. Then you have TC, who is in the brain of Khalil, with Khalil and Painkiller. And Painkiller's like, I'm going to whoop your ass. And then, I beat your ass. And Khalil's like, well, if you don't sit down, I invited him in here. I'll beat you. Like, okay, cool. TC figures out a way to end the kill order in Painkiller. But the catch is, the caveat, if he eliminates the kill order, it erases all the memory that Khalil has of the Pierces, which actually works. Okay? Again, he can't go forward as the Painkiller series would always, I want to see Jennifer. I want to see Jennifer. No, because you're not going to have Jennifer going forward. She just came back for the finale. That's it. So that makes sense. So he decides to do it. But again, that's pretty much the end. And again, you have the Pierce family and everybody celebrating and showing love, et cetera, et cetera. Here's the thing. So first of all, they did not pick up the Painkiller series, which it sucks so much. I wish they would have picked it up. But as I always said and everything else, Jordan's going to be fine. Jordan Calloway's going to be fine. His career's just now starting to hit that stride higher. He's already been doing series regulars. He would have been a lead. This is an easy transition for him. Even action, it's not going to be a problem. I understand why things had to end the way it did. I mean, I understand you're trying to close loopholes without completely closing everything. But at the same time, there's some things that kind of don't make sense. I understand that things had to be rewritten. And again, as someone who's followed the show since day one, I'm one of those people that wanted more. But also, I'm one of those people who feels like, who knows I was not promised anything, so I'm not owed anything. And I say that because we've seen this now with too many comic book TV shows and movies where you have fans in general who don't get the ending they want to get, who don't feel like it's satisfactory to what they want, and so they're upset because they felt it was going to go a certain way and it should have went a certain way, and because it didn't live up to expectations. I'm upset it didn't end the perfect way. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, it's not my show. It's not my show. I wanted more. I wanted better. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt, but it's not my show. I have memories from the past 4 years of this show, from not only watching it, being a friend, being a fan and supporter, for being on the set several times, for seeing the transitions of the sets, the evolutions, being around the characters, watching a character I knew little about growing up, but watching him be brought to life. Black Lightning came out before Black Panther did. And I'm not saying Black Panther wasn't a thing. Luke Cage had already come out, but again, this was the first superhero family, black superhero family we got on TV. Now, it was more because of who ran the show. The show was more centered as a family drama with superpowers. There's a difference. There's a difference between a superhero drama and a family drama with superpowers. But the problem was, this is about superheroes. But I get it. We definitely showed a lot about the black family. The culmination of Lynn and Jefferson getting back together. I'm glad it was announced because again, they played when they just started living together again and everything, they were just like they were having a husband and wife, but technically they weren't. And it wasn't until the acknowledgement of the lawyer. Cool. Am I upset the show's done? Yes. But if this season, with everything that went on, was indicative of what could have been gone forward, I'm glad it's done. Don't tarnish the legacy. Some people will say, well, it was tarnished the way they did this season. Look, again, shit changes. So stories have to change. It is very difficult to change a complete season story when one of your main characters leaves abruptly. Not a reoccurring character, not a guest character. A main character leaves. That changes a lot. So again, I understand. The culmination with the JJ thing, had you just said she was from another universe, that's it. That's it. But again, the show runner didn't want to acknowledge it being in another universe anyway. So, que sera. I'm grateful for having had this show because now we're, as even said in the interview with Chris Williams, which again, please go check that out. Blurs in the Hood, youtube.com/Blurs in the Hood. The Chris Williams interview is there. You're just glad you saw the families depicted in a certain way. You're glad you saw black family go through therapy, through ups and downs, through, one of the discussions now in the black community is members of the LGBT community and having a black family have a black gay daughter where it's, all right, that's just my daughter. It's not even a thing that she's gay. It's not even an acknowledgement. It's not even a plot point per se. It's just, yeah, she's gay. Okay, cool, move forward. But it's not this big thing where it needs to be revealed. It's just normal life. There was so much, and throughout it all, I'm grateful to have been able to witness it. To live in a time where this was able to be a thing. Not for 1 year, not for 2 years, for 4 years. Which, again, had not a series regular left, I'm telling you now, this show was going at minimum 6 years. I'm telling you, and I guarantee it. You were getting 6 years out of Black Lightning, which would have been great. We have other black superhero shows coming up. We got Naomi, which is coming by Ava DuVernay. And we're just, you just want this to be to the point where now it's a normal, regular thing. It's not a shock. So regardless of how we felt a couple seasons with the writing and show direction, the fact that we had it. And I said we as a black community, because yes, there is this thing of like black representation in TV. And yes, I understand now other nationalities and races and cultures are asking for their representation as well. This is true. And if I may say, you do get it more. You actually do. But nonetheless, I want to know y'all thoughts down below. Now, you already know how I am with this. This is going to bring up discussion. Keep it respectful. If you dislike something, why did you dislike it? Not just, I didn't like this. I will delete that. Let's have a conversation down below. If you loved it, you loved it. But overall, like I said before in the previous one, your thoughts on the show as a whole, as well as this episode, the finale. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Mr. J Washington. You see it spelled below. The Mad Titan Podcast. I'm recording it this week. I got to record it because, again, I'm done moving. Everything's in and situated. I just got to decorate. I'm gonna get a girlfriend just so she can help me decorate my apartment because I can't do this shit myself. I've been lost my mind. Blurs in the Hood, like I said, every Tuesday, Thursday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Myself, Winston A. Marshall, the world, pop culture, entertainment, sports, news, politics, and a whole lot more from a Blur's perspective, and we are unapologetically black, all right? That, and again, the Cress Williams interview, I will continue to say that. Please check out that interview. It is a great interview. We had the heads of CW Publicity, the show's publicity. They were listening in. Some heads of CW have listened to it. They loved it. It's actually kind of much, they liked it better than some of the written articles. So that speaks volumes. So please go check that out, all right? Holla at y'all for the next CW show. I'll be here for Naomi. I know that for a fact. And we'll figure out where I come next. But just stay here, stay tuned to the channel. That's all you can do. If you're watching this for the first time, subscribe. Click on the notification button. Do all that, all right? Take care. I'm out.